is good, you? It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be building our best squad in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM that you can make right now. Or another way to look at this thing and to go about this thing is, what is our best 250k squad? So let's say the 250k tournament was tomorrow. What is the squad I would recommend going out there with? That is what this video is going to be today. Now, before we dive any further into that, if you guys are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 120,000 subscribers. Really do appreciate all the support. So thank you to each and every one of you guys that does tune in and watch and support the videos. Starting off at the point guard position with my personal favorite point guard on my team right now. That is endgame Mr. Magic Johnson. It's tough to beat what Magic Johnson gives you and provides for you guys on the court. 6'9", good frame, a lot of good dribble six, and again, I personally do like that end game release. Shooting guard position, another 6'9" guy. This guy is Paul George. Now here's the deal, guys. People would argue against it, but I do believe that 6'9" guys in my team, especially at the end game era, as far as end games are concerned, just move a little bit better. Now again, that's just my personal opinion on things. If you guys disagree with me, you guys can let me know that down below in the comments. But right now, as it stands, I do believe Paul George is my favorite shooting guard in my team. He is the shooting guard that I personally have had the most success with, and when it comes down to it, guys, end games, a lot of it is preference based. For me, this is the best backcourt that you guys can start your squad with. Magic Johnson, Paul George, two guys that I absolutely love. At the starting three, end game Victor Wembanyama. Now look, a lot of people are going to say, oh Ty, but what about the Invincible Wemby? We'll talk about him in a little bit. I do believe endgame Wemby is our best small forward in my team right now. 7'5", good frame, endgame release, endgame 6. I mean, what else can you ask for? Honestly, out of Mr. Wemby in my team, I think from top to bottom, when it comes down to it, there's not much that you can ask for outside of what Wemby gives you on the court. Great option at that small forward position who is going to play great defense. You know that. Going to provide everything you need on the court. Offensively is absolutely ridiculous too. If you want to run 5 out every possession with Wemby, he can go and get you a bucket. At the power forward position, we're plugging in endgame Taco Fall. Now, the debate right now is, who is our best card in my team? And we'll talk about that when we do our top 100 list, probably later on this week. I think, sorry, I just bit my tongue. I do believe that Taco Fall is right up there with the best of them. Is he better than the endgame Wemby? I mean, that's a personal debate. Is he better than the Invincible Manute? Again, that is a personal debate. Why do I start Taco over a guy like Manute at the power forward position? Well, number one, I think I like the endgame SIGs. I want all of my all the end games possible on the court. So I know the release in each and every one of them. But number two, I think Taco's wide player model definitely helps him out, especially if he's not going to have to handle the ball too much. At the center position, we're plugging in endgame Yao Ming. Look, I know Yao Ming is probably overpriced. Same thing with Taco Fall. I wouldn't ever really recommend anyone, going out of their way to buy them just because there are cards for cheaper, which we'll get to with our backup center that you guys can utilize and run. But when it comes down to it, this would be my starting lineup if there was a big time tournament tonight, right? If there was a huge massive tourney tonight, this is probably the starting lineup that I personally would go out there with. Again, a lot of it is preference based. So again, if you guys would rather run a guy like Kevin Durant, a guy like, Braun, whoever else, you guys could start them. Again, I'm not going to argue against it. A lot of it is preference based, but for me, this is the starting lineup I prefer. Now to the bench unit, I'm going to start it off with endgame Ben Simmons, who I personally like. The other guy, I'm just going to plug him into the 11th spot that you guys could have, in my opinion, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, Braun is right in there in this debate as well. But for me, I do think Ben and Giannis, as far as height is concerned, and just give you a little bit more. Now, if you do run Ben, if you do run Giannis, you're going to want to run a shooting guard that can make plays alongside them, and I'll get to who I'm plugging in right beside them. But I like Ben, I like Giannis. I just think the lefty release of Ben Simmons is just a little better than Giannis's. Now, again, that's personal preference. You guys can disagree. You guys can say I'm wrong with that. But for me and what I've had success with, that's just my personal opinion. Not the shooting guard position. We're plugging in endgame Scottie Pippen. This is going to be a guy that nobody else really loves in my team outside of myself. Nobody else is going to hype up Scotty over a guy like T-Mac. That's just unheard of. Nobody's going to hype up Scotty over a guy like Kawhi Leonard. For me, personally, I've had more success with Scottie Pippen at the backup shooting guard or even starting shooting guard than anybody else outside of Paul George in my team. And when it comes down to it, that's all it entails. It's personal preference. Most people would probably prefer even KD over Scottie Pippen. For me, it's about who you're comfortable with. When I play with Scottie Pippen, I'm really comfortable with him, and there's no reason to overthink it. The card is absolutely elite. Backup small forward position, Invincible Victor Wembanyama. Look, if you can run the two Wembys, I would do it. Now, you got to know which Wemby is on the court, so you got to know, which Wemby is starting, which one's coming off your bench, because they do have different releases. While both of their releases are good, they are different enough that you gotta know which one you are shooting with. Here's the deal, both Wembys are the top two small forwards in my team. If you want to run preview, or if you prefer Invincible Wemby, start the Invincible Wemby. I don't really care. If you prefer endgame Wemby like myself, start him. Both are absolutely elite, but they are your top two small forwards in my team. At the backup power forward position, we're plugging in Invincible Manute Bol. You can make the argument, make the debate that Invincible Manute Bol right now is our overall best card in my team. Now, do I think that? Do I believe that? No. I think there are cards that outdo Manute Bol, that are better than Manute Bol. But again, that is my personal opinion on things, just from using cards in my team. Manute, still absolutely elite. Still hard to argue against him. I mean, 7'7", good frame, can move pretty well as well. Manute is absolutely elite. And at the backup center position, we're plugging in Season 8. George Mirasan. Card that is a buyout, relatively cheap. Look, I'm going to say it like this. If you are looking for a card, right, and again, I'm not trying to just sit here and gas people up, but if you're looking for a card, right, that can just do it all at every level, that's relatively cheap, that's not the flashiest player, I think Mirasan is your man. 7'7", massive player model. He can compete with the endgame Taco Yaos and Invincible Manutes of the world. He's a Season 8 card, so people hype him up, but let's say you're not super knowledgeable about my team or that height runs my team. Nobody's really going to look at Manute, but trust me when I tell you, he is up there as a top 4 or 5 power forward center in the entire game. That's why he makes the squad. Do I like him as much as Manute, Taco, or yeah, probably not, but he is that fourth option right there. Coming in at my 12th spot, we're plugging in endgame KP. Look, let's say somehow 2K, or they might have patched it, honestly, at the time I'm recording this. I don't really know because I don't have both Wembys. But let's say it gets to the point where you can't run both Wembys. My next guy I'm plugging in at that backup small forward position is Kristaps Porzingis. You could throw Bol right in there because Bol is absolutely elite as well. But I do like KP a little better. 7'3", good frame. Again, has the endgame SIGs, endgame release. You know what you're getting at him. Just a little bit taller than Bol, but Bol again is absolutely elite. And speaking of Bol, he's in that 13th spot, right? Because initially I was thinking maybe Kareem, but I'm like, Kareem and Bol, they basically are the same cards. Bol is just a little, small forward, power forward, a little more versatile. And you guys might be like, oh, but Ty, you don't have a backup power forward or, backup center position. My whole thing is run Mirasan, run Manute, run Yao, run Taco until you can't. Those guys at the center position are all 7'6" or taller. Why am I running anybody else? Some honorable mentions. Could plug in Mark Eaton's Invincible, could plug in Big Z cards like that. But to me, this is your best overall squad that you can assemble as it stands at the end of July. And if the big time tournament was today, this is the 13-man that I would go out there and run with. That's going to wrap it up for our video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.